Welcome to Unfiltered
I
with
do my
Roxy.
hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unfiltered with Roxy. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something a little bit personal. Well, all the things I talk about are personal, actually. So we are going to keep the trend going because I just turned 48. There's a lot of things that I just can't do anymore, and also that I'm not willing to do anymore. I don't want to do it anymore, and that's just that. So I've realized there are some things that I no longer be willing to carry, some things that are draining my peace and my energy and my joy. And this episode is all about drawing the boundaries, how to keep my peace, how to walk in peace, how to let go a little bit, especially when it comes to navigating relationships with adult children. There is nothing more delicate because they are out of our hands after a certain point, not necessarily 18 because they still need some support, but yeah, it's just a very difficult situation. And whether you're a mom, a daughter, or both, my hope is today that you will get something out of the conversation and um be able to lean into the abundance of peace that you already have, especially in your household, being able to walk in peace, to make peace, and to exude peace. That's already yours. All you have to do is lean into it. So hopefully that will be where we end up today for today's show. So, a little bit about me. I have 4 kids, and they're all adults now. So, I have all the way from 22 to 30. And my first three are 24, 25, and 30. And then my youngest is 22. So, I feel like I had experience with all stages. Every person, every child is different, and this is no different. So one of the things that has really been a lot for me when I started out in my journey of motherhood is just navigating friendships. In my 30s and 40s, I had not quite a few, but one toxic friendship that might have basically ruined me for friendships in general. And that's not a bad thing. It just matured me to the point where I know I don't need a friend to do all the things with. One person can't fill all of that. And it just taught me a lot about myself and how I want to navigate through life and navigate to in my relationships. And I remember, and I've talked about this before on my blog, where one time with this one friend, my husband was like, I wish you would see that this person is just using you to the point of they don't care that it's messing up your marriage, that it's making you not available for your friends. And literally, that was me. I was like skipping work to make this friend know that I would always be there for her. I was going out of my way on the weekends, going to all these church events, doing all these things. And it was never going to be good enough for her. I was never going to be holy enough for her. It was truly a time now where I lost time with my family, but it's okay because it made me really mature and grow and learn that just because this person didn't value me didn't mean I didn't have value. And just because this person didn't think I was great didn't mean other people were. And I remember telling a coworker that was my friend at the time, we were both in a toxic situation at work. And she was like, who's telling you that you're not a good friend or that you're this like toxic person? Because you're totally not. It sounds like they're being toxic. And it was like after a couple times of hearing that, I finally got to a point that I was like, oh, wait, maybe it wasn't me. And this is like 2 years of being in this toxic situation and wondering, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? maybe I do have, like, I am possessed or something. Like, I'm being funny, but it wasn't funny at the time that I was going through. It's very hurtful, very painful. I cried so many tears over it. And I remember my mom being like, just because this person says that they're this holy Christian person doesn't mean, one, that they are, and doesn't mean that you guys need to be friends. So thank goodness, been delivered and healed from needing that level of people pleasing. Like, I think I still have it, but definitely not as bad as I used to, which I need to not laugh at that. That is serious. And that is why I'm on this journey. So, just looking at my notes here. So, one of the things that I wanted to also highlight is the patterns of us overextending and how sometimes we get into that and how that creeps into our relationship with our children. Is, I think for me, it was, and I want you to ask yourself this too, if you are people pleasing, if you are overreaching, because for me, I think I'm finding my value from external um, tasks, work, titles so much that I just get into the point where I want to check another box. And that extra check of a box means I'm just that much of a better person, which is not true. I'm finally at a point where I realize that if I'm do nothing else today, I'm still a good person. I'm still a productive person. Now, when I keep hitting the wall, I've talked about this before in my blog. That's when I know it's time to do something else. Like, we're not made to do all the things all the time forever until we die. Like, it's okay to get another job. It's okay to not have people in your life forever. Like, you don't have to keep trying that. And that unfortunately extends to a spouse that maybe it's not working and you've tried all the things to work. It might be a time for a break. Or, like, let's say it's a friend that you guys grew up together. Everything has been you guys doing everything together. Maybe you even had your kids together. Maybe you went to the same church together. Well, things happen when people show you who they are. Sometimes it's time to move on. And maybe for a lot of seasons, it was fine because I don't know. I want you to analyze that for you. But for today, I wanted to just really have you think about, why are you overextending yourself? Because there is a point where we realize we don't have enough time, we don't have enough energy, we don't have enough money to do something, but we keep doing it. Why? So that's what we have to dig to. I know a lot of times for me, I just want to be this good person. I just want to be this good, great mom. I want to be this great, good wife. I want to be this great good friend. But that's not the other people's fault, cuz they may not even know that I'm tired or that I am overwhelmed with work stuff. So, I think just really being focused on our own personal journey of the why we're doing something. Why do I want to show up and volunteer for this? Is it really because I care and I feel led to? Or is it just because I need to check my volunteer box and make sure I've done all the things for the year? I don't know. That could be a thing, because I know probably for me in my 30s was a thing. I had to volunteer. I had to do this. I had to do that. So I think another part of this is, what is the reality of moms and daughters, and what are the things that we can get misunderstood? Jennifer Armis does a great job about talking about the Black mother wound. Even though I don't have that as a wound, my wound of rejection was my dad. My dad could care less about who I was, that I even existed, other than him wanting to, like, talk to my mom some more. But I was like not a factor to him. So that's where my wound came from. But the Black mother wound, um, really, that's a podcast that everyone who has that rejection, you have to listen to it, because she talks about how her mom, really for no reason other than her brokenness and where she came from, just really was hurtful. Now, even though this podcast isn't about that, it is about making sure we're showing up in a respectful way for each other. And Jennifer, our niece, does talk about that in her podcast, how like simple little things that we can show up for our mothers and how children can show up for their moms. That is such a great lesson. She does such a great job of that. That I think anyone who's in the field of healing or wants to be a therapist or understand what someone's going through, because even though I don't understand that as my reality, my mom was always there for me. And even though she wasn't perfect, she definitely had ignorant moments, and my sister and I laugh about it now, but like when she died, we had to both realize like, okay, we are kind of just making it like she was this perfect person. She wasn't perfect, and that's fine. We loved her where she was, but a lot of our friends are going through that process of now that they're grown and not having had that foundation of a good mom and how that affects them. The motherhood, the Black mother wound explains that, and that's helpful. And it also like taught me some things that I was doing that are some of the things that I was doing that's causing a wound for my daughters or for my sons that I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to be that person to them. No, I would think any healthy parent does not want to be this person that's just causing a wound to anyone, but especially not your kid that you love and you hopefully would esteem for them to have the best life and all the best things. So, in that being said, I also want you to check out The Gift of Rejection by Nona Jones. And she talks about the rejection of her mom. She did not have a dad because her dad had died. So, seeing her process of that also was helpful for me because it made me understand a lot of how my stinking thinking was and how to navigate out of it. And not only that, that people will be so messed up that sometimes you can't even imagine what they're thinking about or how to get out of it other than complete no contact, which Jennifer Anise also talks about that. So both are extremes of how motherhood is definitely damaging and um, how to get out of it. Because it doesn't matter how you are harmed or what the intensity is. The result of that is you still dealing with that rejection spirit and getting out of the stinking thinking that you acquired going through that process. So getting into what we're getting into today is like dealing with adult children, specifically daughters and moms, and how there's going to be misunderstandings, right? Misunderstandings about hair, misunderstandings about piercing, misunderstandings about boyfriends, misunderstandings about girlfriends. Um, all of those things that, you know, you can say a offhanded comment while you're in the middle of working and, you know, just be like, well, so and so has always been a jerk. And that's a wound for your child. You don't want to go through a relationship where you keep saying offhanded things and hurting someone. So that's why I think it's really important to nip it in the bud early. I have a 30 and I have a 22-year-old. So it's like, we may have a lot of years of things being misunderstanding. And I don't want to go through that. And I definitely don't want you to go through that either. I want you to have a good experience with your adult child. I want them to hang around you all the time just because they think you're that awesome. Also, because that's what I want. So, yeah, that's what we're going to dive into today. I had a few run-ins. And when I say run-ins, meltdowns, cussing and fussing at each other, bickering back and forth, wanting to not talk to each other, but still we're going to talk to each other with my daughters, both of them. And I realized there's some things that have to be put in place. Some beautiful gates, some beautiful walls, some beautiful doors, also known as what? Boundaries. I think with boundaries, that helps people stay in some parameters so they don't get hurt. One of the things that I've realized is, and my friend Di and I talked about this last weekend, is their relationship problems are not my problems. So if my kids want to vent, that is fine, but I don't need to give them feedback. I don't need to give them a solution. They are smart enough to figure it out. You know why? Because I spent years showing them either how to be treated or how not to be treated. Both of those lessons came from me, either in my tears or my reaction to certain things or them having to live through me and their dad battling it out verbally and emotionally, right? So they're smart. They've learned the lessons. They've gotten through as long as they've gotten through. They don't really need me to advise them that way anymore. That being said, if they're being abused, there is no advising. I'm going to get you the hell out of there. But even with that, they have to say they're ready to get out of there, right? Because I can't decide or say for them what's abusive and what's good. So, one of the things that we need to walk and talk and get through as parents in our own head and heart and mind at least is that our kids are smart enough. They're going to figure it out. So, when there's boyfriend or girlfriend problem, we shake our head. We listen without judgment. We tell them they're still great and worthy of all the great things. And we know that they will figure it out. Okay. So that's the first thing. Also, on the flip side of that, I've been through this as well. Having a parent that's dumping all of their stuff on you. Now, when I say dumping, yes, it's understandable if you're a parent that's going through a divorce, that you're a parent that is going through a breakup. Yes, your kid is going to know you're sad, but they don't need to know all the details. And that's not fair for them to hear those things from what's supposed to be the mature person. That's us, supposed to be mature. Some days we miss the mark, right? But most of the time we're supposed to be mature. We have to make sure that we're putting that boundaries. We find a friend, we go for prayer, we get a therapist. That's my therapist is the one who taught me that, my kids are smart. They were raised by a smart person. I'm a smart person. And even though she was there to listen and navigate and give those and not navigate, that's not the right word, give those prompts to make me think deeper, she was not the problem solver. I was the problem solver. And that's how I needed to be with my kids because that's what I trained them up to be. They are at work, they are doing all the things. So why would I think relationships is something I need to counsel them on? They're going to be fine. And also for us, we're going to be fine. We need to find the right support. And even with friends, it's only for a certain amount of time. I feel that once we are mature enough, we can get a therapist, we can get different relationship books, we can get different circles to help us navigate. It should not just be one person with the whole brunt of our lives. Like that's something only God can really hold space for us for, to take all those burdens, take all those anxieties to. All right. So number 2, if you're an adult, you have to act like one. Financial contributions, household contributions, that's something a grown person has to navigate. And us as the parent need to make sure that we're making our kids accountable for that. I have not done that to the full extent with all of my kids. And it's caused problem because I think that's a step that's missed in making good humans, is that because I struggled, I didn't want them to struggle, but we all have to learn that lesson because that teaches us to be financially responsible and chores responsible. I don't know what that's called, but responsible for cleaning up, responsible for making sure I'm at certain places at a right time. That whole thing of adulthood, we have to make sure that the teens and the young people that are in our lives, in our house, are accountable to that. I don't think a free pass is helping people understand that everything is at a cost. Nothing is actually free. I mean, that's a lesson we all have to learn, right? So I think that with that being said, we have to make sure that we're teaching that for our kids. And on the flip side, if you are saying that you're a grown adult, as an adult child, you can't be throwing temper tantrums, okay? Like, the temper tantrum that you are an adult and need to be treated like an adult is not showing that you're an adult. The only thing that will have your parents respect that you're an adult is by managing your own emotions and contributing to your household, especially if you're living with them. You're getting value out of getting support, out of like I still cook for my family if they're all home. So I think that's something that needs to be respected. Contribute to the bills, contribute to the cleaning up of the house so it's not just one person doing it. And then on the flip side, you can't have temper tantrums. Even parents. Parents, you can't have temper tantrums and say that you're grown. Both parties need to learn how to manage their emotions. Now, if you have one, that means you need to question what's going on. Am I hungry? Am I tired? Do I need to divvy out the chores differently? Do I need to cut back? That's when you have to have a meeting with yourself to see why. Just going to leave it at that. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable. Our time, even the kids' time, is valuable. So, what does that mean? I can't expect that when I need help, anyone's in my house is just going to stop what they're doing, drop what they're doing, and help me. If I want to paint, if I want to clean out a closet, that has to be something I manage on my own, which no one has to tell me that. And no one usually has to tell parents that. It's the other way around, right? It's like making sure, that time that's so precious, it's a resource we can't get back during the day, that's respected and has boundaries. If you ran out of gas and now you're stranded on the highway, let me take a deep breath and say this nicely. You cannot expect that everyone will stop what they're doing because you did not manage your time and your money properly. If you didn't have money, you need to go somewhere, you have to manage that properly. Not saying that that doesn't happen every once in a while. Maybe something happened to your car, but that needs to be managed. You have to plan your money for your work, plan your time going to and from places. So that thing of, oh, you need someone to pick up your kid because you mismanage, that's not okay. And you can't expect your parents to drop whatever all the time to do that. Flip vice versa for the parents as well. I actually know people who've done that to their kid as well. Don't do that. Like, we need to make sure that if we have kids that are smaller and then we have kids that are older, that the older kid is not our to-go person to fill in the gaps of where we could not manage. And I'm saying that in love, even if you're a single parent, because it's not right for the older child to now be a parent or a supporter of, just because. It's ways that we can manage things so that that older child doesn't have to do it. Not to say that they cannot help, but it shouldn't be an emergent thing of, now you can't go to practice, now you have to skip this. No, we can plan better than that. And of course, if it's because you need to make money to support the family, that's different. But I'm just saying the last minute thing, we can plan better. So I actually had this happen to me and with my child, and I've actually observed this also at the pool, which is crazy that this is a universal thing. If you're out and you're having fun and the phone rings or there's a text message, do not feel like you have to respond right away. You don't have to. That text, that call can be called back and answered at a later time. When that person needs something, they will go to the next person. If you're in the middle of your good time, what is that going to do? That person already is wherever they are. They already need what. So what I'm trying to say is they will figure it out. They will figure it out. Test it out. Wait an hour to call someone back. Wait an hour to respond to the text. They would have figured it out and didn't even take time to call you back and let you know. Whew. It's very upsetting because not only has it happened to me that I stopped what I was doing, now I'm upset. I have to stop my fun. But I've been at the pool before and seen that happen. Like, somebody was just having a great time and all of a sudden their kid called. And it's like, why did you even answer the phone? Like, you don't have to. That kid will figure it out. And I'm not talking about a little kid. I'm talking about grown adult kids, grown adult people calling their friends with whatever, and now the good time is done. So, yeah. And you deserve to have your good time. Recognizing that the emergencies are a pattern that keep happening, they're just recycled drama that you're getting pulled into. Why? Like, no. Whether you're 20, 30, or 40, like, that's a lesson we need to learn. We don't need to be in someone else's cycle of drama that they haven't figured out how to stop. You will keep letting these things burn you out because when someone else is upset, you're going to be upset. You have to go get them. You have to help them do this but it's happened before. Look for the patterns, journal it out so you can figure it out. And the sooner you do, the sooner you can enjoy your life, be in peace, and blessing to bless someone else. We don't have to do everything together. That's number 4 on my list. And that's a hard one for me because for so long I've been sad about my family being older and, oh, this is going to be the last hurrah. This is going to be the last hurrah. We just got to do it. Um, if it is, it's okay. But the thing is that I guess always scared me is I don't know when the last time is gonna be, so it's like I have to keep making sure that there's more last times before it really is the last time that we're all together and able to do a summer vacation or, a summer cookout where it's just us or, um a holiday where everyone will wanna be here. I don't know when that'll be, so I just have to keep making it, and it's like, I know that sounds admirable, but if there's strained relationships in between there, it's kinda not helpful, right? And we have to give people that space to not come if they choose not to, right? Um, for a while, I remember, especially when I was younger, I remember, like, one of my sisters feeling like I was a certain way. Well, she just stopped coming to the holidays, which is fine. And I feel that when the season is right for us again, we'll start back up again. It's not that the invitation ever was taken away, but if something is too stressful because our mom died around here in this area in Maryland and it's too much for her to be here. I don't want to be a burden to her grieving process. So even though it's sad, it's like we have to give people that space. And even though that's not like a thing where we had a confrontation, it still is causing friction because it's like, why can't we just spend time together? Or let's say you have a cousin that you guys just don't agree or get along. You don't have to go to every cookout they have. Like, that's okay. If you have a grandparent who's always saying nasty things about your weight or your hair, you don't have to be around them all the time. We need to give people that space and that grace and not make our kids go to the family function just because. Like, my youngest is not down for all the extra extra noise, the extra rah-rah, staying out late. He will go to some, but not all. And at first I was like, come on, don't you? But now it's like, no, I have to let him be and let him figure out what he would want to do in his time and season. So just looking at my notes again, defining mindfulness in family relationships. Circling back, I think that we have to remember that everyone's time with us is short. Our kids' time with us is short. So we just have to love them where they are and be able to let them go. Let them go through painful, hardful stuff, especially if they're choosing to go through it. Sometimes they're not choosing to go through it, and we still got to just be there, love them, listen without what? Judging. Letting go of resentment, and that's like when we're going through fights with each other, just knowing that everyone has a different point of view. Everyone's idea of the situation is valid. It's right. Because when you hear it back, it's like, yeah, that did happen, but don't say the but. Just be like, yes, I understand what you're saying. And even though I don't see it from that view, I respect it because you were there and you're a person and you're smart and I love you and I wouldn't want to hurt you. That's why it's like, I'm sorry. And I'm going to just pray and know that I can do better next time. And that the prayer part is really part of letting go of the resentment, because you don't want that sting to still be there, that zing of, well, you sure do know how to do this, this, and this, don't you? Like that thing of just revisiting that person's fault, or that person's thing against that they did to make you sad or upset is still there. We don't need to live and focus in that. We need to like pray to let go, pray that we will walk in the peace and abundance of love, light, and joy that we already have in us. We don't even have to try to manifest that. We already have all those things in us. We are already peaceful. It's just if we're deciding to be peaceful or not. We already have forgiveness to the overflow if we decide to walk in it. But if we're just like, oh, Lord, help me, I'm going to try to pull it down. No, we're making it bigger than it is because we have it to the overflow. We just have to walk in it. And that is something that I'm trying to really fully get the concept of now, is that I already have all these things that I keep wanting and praying for, that I want to live a life with no limits. But it's like, if I keep putting limits on it, like, oh, well, I only have this much peace, but I really want to the moon. It's like, that's not going to manifest for me. I need to walk in the fact that I can let that go. I can let that argument go. I can let that thing of being right go, because am I really right? I can consider that I might be wrong, because I am wrong most of the times, y'all. We're not all right just walking around in these bodies and being perfect. Most of the times we're wrong. So it is totally fine and all right to be like, I might be wrong. So I need to just leave that alone and let them be in their flow and let me be in my flow. And at some point we're going to come together, because I'm not trying to bicker and hold on and be right and try to hurt again, because that's not the purpose and the point of life or even this podcast. We're not trying to hurt anyone. We're not trying to be the tit for tat. We're trying to let go, let be, and really heal ourselves so we can keep it moving forward and really have that light push out, that God has wanted us to be. We're the light, not the lampshade over the light. We're not somebody trying to make our kids underneath us. We're not somebody who's trying to be the brightest light. We all have the light. The light is there for everyone. The light is from the Lord, and then we just shine it out. So it's nothing that we're going to keep in us if we're really trying to progress as family, as what our ancestors expected we would grow into, as what the Lord expects us to grow into. We're just going to keep going. We're not going to keep holding on and shutting down and covering and trying to beat down into submission. No, that's not the way our growth is going to happen. So just a reminder for these heavy days is, you're worthy of all the good things. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of peace. You're worthy of joy, even if you've messed up. So moms, if you messed up and you were harsh, it's okay. You're going to restart. You are still worthy of the love, forgiveness, and light, and you're going to keep it moving. We're going to have healed spaces that we host, not forced togetherness. Like, I'm not making people come for Christmas. I'm not making people come to the cookout. It's, if you want to come, and if not, I can send a plate with your mom or with your cousin or with your friend. But let's not force people to be in situations that they don't want to be in. Let's not be like, oh my gosh, you don't come to anything anymore. It's, oh my God, I've missed you. And I'm so glad you're here now. We're going to play your favorite game. I made your favorite food. And that's a way to honor someone who's been hurt by the family, right? Because a lot of times we go through this perception of how we're experiencing something, but we're not like thinking about how the other people are experiencing it. And if we could be that light and be like, oh my gosh, so-and-so, I missed you so much. And guess what? I made your favorite thing because I was just hoping you would be here. Those are things that are healing words that salve in toxic spaces. And even if we're seeing how somebody is being treated in the moment, to I don't want to say like be combative, but to be like, oh wow, that was harsh. So and so, why don't you come over here and we can go for a walk? We're gonna play a game together, blah blah. Those are things we could do in the family to be of salve. And I know it's hard because a lot of times we want people to see we're right. But remember, consider that you might be wrong. Just consider it. Um hopefully by like keeping the boundaries of making sure that you're not listening or giving too much information. Listen, don't judge, care about the person. They don't need your advice, they just need space. They need us to hold space for them, and vice versa, parents. We need to find the right people to hold space for us. If you're an adult, we have to act like one. That means no temper tantrums on both sides, and that we're going to make sure that we're making our kids accountable for their financial contribution to the household, especially if they live with us, and the chore contribution. Everyone's time is valuable, so we have to make sure that we're staying on that respect of boundaries. If my door is locked, I'm doing my video, I'm working for my clients, and I need that time respected. If I'm out and I'm having fun, you have to respect that if I don't call back right away or if I don't answer right away, I unfortunately am having fun or in a business meeting or whatever it is, but I'm not going to answer right now. I'm going to answer when I'm done. All right. And hopefully I remember because I have menopause brain. It is what it is. I don't know if you've ever been on Instagram, that We Do Not Care Club. She has it right on point. I forget the lady's name, but she was like, the fact that I have brain fog, I don't care if I forgot your whatever. I mean, I do care, but do I? Haven't decided yet. Anyways, that recap. Check that Instagram out. I also gave you 2 other resources: The Black Mother Wound by Jennifer Arnice, The Gift of Rejection by Nona Jones. So if this podcast helped you, please, please, please like, subscribe to it, share it with another parent who is having the same issues, the same tears, that we can all help each other. Like, make a comment, message me. Also, I'm on my road to 1K followers on YouTube. So if you really like this, you can also like and share that. I have different tips every day when I'm on my walks with my little dog Foxy, or alone on my walks, or with my daughter. So there's definitely a lot of different content on there: silly content, serious content, and all that in between. Anyways, I pray that and actually, I'm not going to pray. I know that this is helping a lot of people out there. So I'm going to just send you some light, love, and encouragement to keep going. Just because you're in a bad phase of a relationship with your child now doesn't mean it will always be that way. I too, with the mom that I loved and adored, had some spicy words for her, didn't always treat her right, ignored her a lot of the time when I should have been leaning into being with her as a young person. So it's like we all have to go through that, right? We just have to pray for our kids that they will be protected during that time, and that we can show up in a real way that is really teaching a good lesson, right? Because that's where I learned from my mom, is the lessons of her showing up, being there for others in a real, authentic way, is how I learned how to be a friend, is how I learned how to parent. You know, I learned how to listen and be there with, okay, some judgment. I'm not perfect, minimal judgment, is because I got that from my mom. So, but she also had to learn her lessons too, right? And we're all going to just learn them together and keep moving forward. So I love y'all. Have an awesome, great rest of your day. Bye.